Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. I've got Scott Deatherage, attorney and consultant in energy, environmental, and blockchain technology with me right now. Scott, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Great to be on the show for the first time. Wonderful studio.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right, Scott, give our audience a background on you, and then we're going to talk about some blockchain. And I think you recently had a conversation or did a public speaking event about the oil and gas industry. But first, your company, what your focus is, and then we can move on into the conversation in a minute.
Oh, absolutely. So Scott Deatherage, my law firm is Deatherage Law. We focus on energy, environmental, and blockchain issues. Over the last year or so, I've been focusing on blockchain legal issues, smart contracts, and cryptocurrency mining, and the legal issues that go along with those. And, blockchain is starting to apply to a lot of different things, and legal issues obviously arise with contracts, negotiations of deals, and blockchain is starting to affect everything from the banking industry to the oil and gas industry to electricity, and just about every area of commerce. So it's a growing area. It's growing like crazy.
Got it. What have you been doing lately?
Well, so one of the recent things I did, I gave a presentation to the Dallas Bar Association Oil and Gas seminar last week, and we're seeing a lot more applications of blockchain technology and smart contracts to the oil and gas industry. There were 100 or 200 people in the room, and I asked how many people feel like they're pretty familiar with blockchain, and one of the people in the audience raised their hand. So we're obviously in the early stages, but if you look at Shell and some of the other big oil companies, some of the big commodity traders like Trafigura, they're investing time, effort, and money into blockchain to try to speed up transactions, to try to become more efficient, to try to reduce the human handling of documents, digitizing everything. And so Shell actually a few months ago bought a blockchain company. So the big players in the oil and gas industry, you trade, billions of dollars worth of oil, and if you can shake out a few percent in efficiency, you're talking real money. So I fully expect blockchain technology to take off in the oil and gas industry. I've got a local guy here, a blockchain guy working on some blockchain technology, a computer programmer. So, I think we're in the very, very early stages, but it's going to grow like wildfire.
I agree with you. And once you get Shell or one of the majors stepping in there, everybody else is going to get on board. They've already broken the glass wall, if you will, and step to the other side. Are there any other industry sectors that you see that were, the old guard waking up and going, we're going to get left behind if we don't step up? Have you seen anything else out there that you're working on?
Yeah, in an area I've done a lot of work in historically is the electricity industry. A few years ago, if you told the CEO that digitization was going to take charge, they would have said, "Oh, you know what? I'm retiring in 10 years. You young kids worry about that." Today, if you ask the CEO of a utility, what's going to happen tomorrow, he'd say, "I don't know. There's too much disruption." But blockchain technology is going to provide a mechanism to allow us as individuals to buy electricity and buy closer to the wholesale rate. The wholesale rate in Texas for electricity is probably 2 to 3 cents on average throughout the year, but we pay 10 or 12 cents. Well, why do we pay 10 or 12 cents? It's because of all the intermediaries that are taking a chunk before it gets to our light bulbs. And so if you look at blockchain can start to replace those intermediaries, and we're going to be able to get closer to the wholesale rate of power. If you're a commercial operator right now, you're probably just barely over the wholesale rate, but for all us individuals, we're paying, 5 times what the wholesale rate is. So I fully expect blockchain to start to take out those intermediaries, all those middle people, and let us cut our rate substantially.
Yep, that's brilliant. What else are you working on, or is that about it for today before we part ways?
I'm working with some folks who are trying to figure out how do you take smart contracts and legal contracts and how do you merge those together? You know, how much of what we do as lawyers can be digitized, and that's kind of a big step we're looking at, because you have these smart contracts that sit on the blockchain and can speed up transactions. But, you know, lawyers are typing Microsoft Word documents, and I fully expect you'll start to see contracts that may have an addendum, but that addendum is going to be a Solidity. What Solidity is the software that largely smart contracts are written in. I'm going to say we're going to see addendums that contain, you know, a little bit of code to provide for smart contracts to execute a lot of what the traditional legal contracts are doing today.
Yeah, I have a feeling that once you make the initial breakthrough, that's just going to completely change the industry, and you'll have a lot of adopters there, because lawyers, the last people that I've ever met want to get left behind on the technology or the commerce train.
Oh, absolutely.
Got it. All right, Scott, thanks for showing up. I'm sure we'll have further conversations about new findings that you've got as we go forward. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me, and love your studio.
Thank you very much. All right. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube channel, and thanks for watching. We'll have more great content for you as we go forward. Thanks.